Okay, hi guys. So if you've been following the previous episodes, I have been struggling with some variables being null, even though I thought they were gonna have the correct value. I have been testing a bit uh, on the side, just to try and find out what exactly is going on. I'm still not completely sure, but I think I might have. At least I have a theory, and I've been reading up a bit and watching some videos. It's all about managing state in Flutter. Flutter has, I think it's a special state concept. I don't know if it exists elsewhere. I'm just gonna tell you guys what I've done in the meantime. I'm actually not sure if I did this last time or I didn't. I've put in this class. Uh, Um, I think actually the class was there before, but I've put in fake just so I know, just so I can identify the uh, the the class if it's a new one or if it's this one or yeah. I've also updated Flutter to the latest version. If you don't know, if you have the Flutter path set, you can just do oops Flutter upgrade, and then it will upgrade uh, Flutter on your machine. I already did this, so it's not gonna. I just did it like literally 2 minutes ago. So it's not gonna do much, I hope. um, okay, so let's go over to my theory about. I guess first I'll show what the problem is. Uh, so you're up to date if you don't know what I'm talking about. We uh, we have this app. It has a main function and it runs the tracker app. The tracker app takes a data store, um, and the data store is what is null when we think it's already been set. So the data store is going to be the database access for the application. The tracker app extends the stateless widget, and it initializes a material app, has a just standard theme, default theme, and then the smiley page is a set of smileys that is going to be shown on the page. And the smiley page is where we start running into problems. The smiley page is a stateful widget. It has a data store here, and then um, we have this create state, which returns smiley. It's a standard Flutter pattern that you have. You have a public smiley page and a private. Oh, sorry, here private smiley page. One extends the stateful widget, the other the state, the generic state class. Then you return in the public one, you return the private one in the create state, and then the private one is actually where stuff happens. This is also where you override the build method and do the interesting things in your app. Somehow these two um, oops, somehow these two classes, the smiley page state and the smiley page, somehow they work together. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but let me show you guys what I've been thinking about. I actually haven't tested this because I wanted to show you my thought process through this. I have, in order to get a little more information about how this works, I have actually watched a video, and I'll just find the link for it. It's called Flutter. It's this video. It's called Flutter 23 app bar and app state. Is this guy Void Realms? I think he makes some pretty nice videos on a bunch of stuff. He's done like 40 or 50 videos on Flutter, just going through it. I think he's learning also a bit. Pretty good material. But I watched that, and I was watching this pattern around the state. So let me walk you through my thought process here. I'm using this tool. I don't really know the tool, but let's hope that it works. It's called drawer.io. So we have a smiley page, and smiley page has a field called database, and it's a type database. And then it has a method that returns a smiley page state, and that method this is how I learned to write it. I don't know how to really do it in UML. Smiley page state return it has a method called create state that it has it's a method it derived from its superclass. This superclass, this is the way I normally think about it. Might be confusing to you guys. I'm just showing you. This is how I mentally, the mental picture I have of this is that this is a stateful widget. So essentially you have a stateful widget. It's the base class, and then the actually this should be, let me show you. It should be what? I guess refresh. Okay. UML. This is how I think of inherited classes. I don't know if it's a good way of showing it to other people, but this is how I think about it. This should go in the other one. Oops. Huh? This is not working so well for me, I guess. Copy the text. Oops. Like this. Okay, so, and this is the stateful widget. So the mental picture I have of a derived class, this is the derived class, this is the base class. The derived class, if you just sort of like put it beneath the other one in your mental picture, then you have actually what happens. So the stateful widget is extended by the smiley page, and we have, so you think of this as one class, but you just divide it up into multiple classes when you write it out, so you know what lies where. And we'll use let's move slow. Okay, so the create state method is placed on the stateful widget, and then we have a database field in the in the derived class. Now, the other class is that extends smiley page state, and it is called smiley page. If you're completely new and you haven't seen the others, the reason why I'm prepending it with underscore is that Dart, in Dart, if you prepend with underscore, you're essentially making a private class. Okay, so the state class has a state, the way I understand it at least. I need to be sure that I'm doing it the right way here. The stateful widget returns this, and this has, okay, so this has the public class as the state. So it's actually a smiley page. Let me get in there, right? No. Oh, this is an annoying tool. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, so state extends smiley page. This must have a oh my god. I think I know what's wrong. I have this I think it's called Ghostery or something. This let's say, okay, so I can pause it here. I think this like shuts down the cookies and then it can't re-authenticate me. Okay, so we have the field here, and I think it has a field that is like this state somehow, and its type is a smiley page, and then it has init state method, and a set state method. We extended in the this private smiley page state. Yeah, and the private smiley page state, you can see it extends this one, and then it has a data store and a click logger. So the database is called a data store. How do I make more of this? Like that. That was nice. And a click logger. Okay, so the problem we're running into is when we try and run this, it seems like it's not. Here it is. So if we start debugging this, this probably just has to load. I'll show this in the meantime. Nope, ready. Okay, so right now we're in the constructor of the smiley page, and we're setting a new database, and the new database is, you see it's called fake, like we were looking for earlier. I showed you I was using this. Now we're also giving the data store that's called fake to the private class smiley page state. Smiley page state tried to initialize it, is actually giving the right data store over here. Now we're setting up the click logger. It has the right data store. We hit init state, but we're not doing anything in there. Now we're setting up, painting the page. Now when I go to click this, I go to click this top smiley. I want to execute this. So I want to execute clicklogger.log smiley. The log smiley should take the data store and hit its put method. I've just put the icon in there for now, just testing it out. The problem is when I'm going to when I go push this and we end up down here, then the data store will be null, even though we just set it. So I click this, and then we come in here, and the data store is null. You can see here it's null. So why does this happen? I think this is caused by the fact that we're not using these init state and set state methods for the data store and the click logger. So I think that in order to preserve this state, I think it's not preserved like you would normally expect. So we probably, the things we want to keep in the things we want to keep using, we need to be very explicit about what we want to keep around in a stateful widget, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm really curious if this is going to work, because I have no idea. I think if we take these two and put them in here, how do you, I'm not sure how you set the, so I have the internal data store, but I can't give this any arguments. That means so it says data store is an undefined name. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we can do this. Then the data store will be set up here, and I think the first time we probably still have the data store here when init state is called, and that way we might be able to, oh, you know what, actually maybe we can, okay, let's see. So we take it here, we put it up here, and then we put it in the state. Then we create the click logger, and then this should mean that both of these will be kept around for later because they were added to the state. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I hope it is. So let's see. Also, I think maybe part of the fact that you can hot reload in Flutter, I think, is attributed to this, because if we think about keeping the state around, so everything else from the build method, the widget build method, this one, is being repainted all the time. I think maybe, and that it comes from having like a sort of a tree of widgets, and then knowing what you can rebuild and what you can just, what you have to rebuild and therefore redraw, and what you can keep around, or what you should keep around, and it's the state we want to keep around. I think that the state right here is what we choose to keep around, and therefore they just when they hot reload, they throw away the state of all the other stuff and re-renders it, but based on this state. I think that's what happens. Okay, so let's see. So we're going through here, all the way down here. Same stuff as before. Hit the smiley. Oh, and it's still null. Okay. This was worth the try. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just gonna try and reload it and see what happens when we initialize. If maybe I forgot something here. Actually, this line shouldn't be here anymore. I'm just rebuilding again. You know what, let's rebuild the whole thing. So I thought what would happen was that once we built the, once we did it with the init state, that would add the data store and the click logger to a state that would be preserved. So when we push the button, it would use that state. So, obviously that didn't happen. So I'm just checking that we're setting the state all the way down here. Smiley page state, data store. So the click logger has its data store set. I'm not sure if I thought this would be part of the init state up here. I'm not sure if this should have its own sort of internal state thing. I thought it would be kept around because the other one had its state. Let's see here. So now we jumped over this. Okay, but we're putting it in here. So putting it into the click logger. Looks right. Okay, let's see. We hit the button. The click logger here. So the data store is null. The click logger. I thought that click logger would have the data store now. Maybe. No, I think it should be kept around. We have it here. We committed this to the state. I don't know if you can call set state from the init state. Set state. Let's see. Do it this way, then we're sure we're setting the state at least. I guess we need to run the super.init state. Maybe that should be finished before calling set state. I'm not sure. Let's see. I think I somehow screwed it up. So let's see, init state. Maybe you can call set state up here. That would make sense, probably. Unless it doesn't, because it's something I just totally don't understand. That would be very possible. Let's see what happens. Okay, so no need to keep this around. We don't need to store this or this. No. Okay, so it says the widget hasn't been inserted into the widget tree yet. It says it's not necessary to call set state in a constructor. I don't really understand this. Since the state is already assumed to be dirty, initially created. I wonder what happens if we I would like to know if we actually have a data store in the click logger next time. So see click logger. Oh. We can just inject it here. So we'll just put the data store in here. Did I spell this wrong? The biggest maybe, yeah. And then we'll give this one too. Okay, so let's see, maybe let's try it this way. Now we're injecting in the data store from the widget calling the click logger. This way we can know, oh, I forgot to erase this. I'll put this down here and then we'll try again. So now we're just injecting in the data store from the smiley page state class where we might have it in the state and see if that changes. Still complaining about the same thing even though I'm not calling it, so I think we have to do a maybe a flutter clean. So deleting build and then try again. Maybe it just didn't get rid of everything. Let's see. No. So let's see here. So the data store is null, but the click logger is looks like it's preserved, and that's in the init state. So let's see. Maybe we can call. Oh, you see, I didn't. That might be the full explanation. I hadn't. I just set the underscore data store is equal to the underscore data store. That's the local variable instead of setting it to the one being passed in. So it was just being set to itself, which was never initialized. Let's see. Data store null. Click logger seems to not be null. Okay. So let's see what happens if we then go data store equals data store. And we're setting it to itself, but this is right after we just set it already. I don't know if this makes sense at all, but I'm getting desperate. So let's see. The data store is being set. Push the smiley. Ooh, see? Now it might be served actually. Yeah. So this is a super weird pattern. Set it to an instance variable, and then reset the commit the instance variable to the okay. Now let's see what happens if we remove this. And then rerun it. So I'm thinking this should still work. Yeah, it does. So we're committing this icon to our proxy for the database. Now, since we're here, then we created a test over here to test this. I think this is the test. Hit face call save on database with icon name. So what we do is we set up the widget, we find the sentiment very satisfied icon. That's the one that is very satisfied. Surprise. We set up a search term which is the name of the very satisfied icon's name. We get a result. So we want the database to, when this is hit, when you hit the space, it calls the method we just saw. It calls this data store, and it calls the put method on the data store. Here we're calling put in Firebase, and that does nothing. In the test, we've made a fake one, and we've implemented the put method as just appending to a string the icon.toString. So the name, the same thing we're getting out of here. So what I'm hoping now is that our test will pass. Let's see, I totally forgot how to run this test, but flutter test, and then it's in this, the path is the, it's relative to the root, I think, and then it's the folder, and then the file. So it will be test widget test start. Let's see. And it's this one that now should pass. I don't remember if others are failing. Some tests failed. Let's see. Hit face call, save on database with icon name, test failed, see exception log. Oh. Let's see. It's probably this one. Hit face. Exception caught by gesture. The following no such method was thrown while the method put was called on null. Oh god, that's exactly what I was trying to avoid. We're setting up a fake data store, and we're adding that in. If you don't know, I just pushed F12, and that took me to the member I was on. Okay, let's see. We're setting up a new data store here. I wonder how. I guess we could. But if we do it this way, how do we inject it into, See, if we do it this way, then we'll just do, we can do this, I guess. Can't be used as a setter because it is final. Oh, so it probably has to be in this like this. It's the initializer list, I think it's called. But this still doesn't get rid of the problem. We want to inject the database into the test somehow. I think that'll be for next episode. So this time I'll revert this to the original. Okay, so let's just go over what happened here, because we did make some progress. Nano is a built-in editor in the terminal. It just looks like this. Let's see. So I think this is going to be episode 2.2.1 maybe. I don't remember. 2.1 or something. So what we accomplished, we committed what's it called? We committed variables to state, so it is preserved. We did this for the data store and the click logger in the smiley page state. Yes. Okay. So that's the essence of what we did. If you use this nano editor, in order this, if you don't know, this caret or whatever it's called, it's the same as control. So to save, you write Control O. I think Control O is out or output. So you write it out to disk instead of having it in memory, and then Control X shuts down the editor. Okay, so that's what we accomplished today. It wasn't much, but it's progress. Also, there'll be this file with pubspec.log and the this file just has all the updates for the flutter. The requirements to stock is what we just did. And this is the actual fix. Okay, so say preserve state of fields in smiley page state class when revisiting after pushing log smiley. Okay. So push it. Okay. I hope this was useful. If you have any questions, let me know. I think next time maybe we should write that into the document actually. That next time we want to let's see, next. So we want to be able to inject dependencies into the flutter test. We want to be able to inject dependencies into the flutter test in order to have a special kind of setup when doing automated testing. This is especially for the we want to pass in the data store. We want to pass in a fake one so we can record what happens instead of making the actual call out to the database. Yeah. Okay, I'll just commit this also. In case you don't know, you can commit from the command line. You can say git commit m, and then update requirements doc with task for next episode. So you get, I think you git add and then git commit, because the file, the requirements doc file was modified, so you need to add it. I think it's the same as staging. You add it to staging, I think, and then you commit with a message, and then you git push, and that'll push it up to the repo. So you'll see that reflected here now. Yeah. Okay. That's all for this time. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be back with hopefully a way to inject this data into it. I know this stuff is going really slow right now, but once we have it, everything from we have from the UI pushing a button, and then we can trace that all the way down with automatic tests and have this entire setup completed, then all the way until we call the database. We'll expect the database to behave and not having to test it from the transfer of the data to the database, because we at some point we have to trust somebody, and we'll trust the vendor of the database. So once we have this set up, and I think we're pretty close, then we can start iterating and use the same patterns over and over again, hopefully, and then stuff will go much faster. But it's really slow here in the beginning because we need to patch all the holes, find all the issues from the user pushing the button and then going all the way through until calling the database. I'm sure there'll be a lot more issues on the way and all that, but I think we're making progress and we'll get there. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.